Welcome back, everyone. It's the Bourbon Judge. Hey, my voice is a little scratchy. That's what happens when you go to a local high school football game. Screaming at the players, at the coaches, screaming for the team, honestly, just cheering them on, all jokes aside. So, voice is a little scratchy, but Judge is good to go. All right, so today we're going to dive into Redwood Empire's, some of their newer products as a whole, which is pretty cool. This is Redwood Empire's, this is the Rocket Top Rye Straight Rye Whiskey. And we have Redwood Empire's the Grizzly Beast Straight Bourbon Whiskey. So we're going to dive into both of these two bottled and bond products. But before we kick it off, huge shout out to my newest patron, my buddy John Daly. No, not the golfer. But John Daly and his lovely wife, they both watch the channel. So John and also John's wife, Mrs. Daly, thank you both for watching the channel. I appreciate all the love and support. As well as I need to give a huge shout out to all my patrons. I talk to my patrons on a daily basis, and I love it, honestly. We go back and forth via, no matter if it's Discord or text or Instagram, whatever it is. We go back all the time, so I love it. So I appreciate all the support from all my patrons, as well as all my subscribers as well. Thanks so much, everyone. All right, so what do we know about Redwood Empire? So Redwood Empire is essentially a distillery based in Northern California. Yes, there are distilleries outside the state of Kentucky. But no, all jokes aside, based in Northern California. And when you think of the name by itself, Redwood Empire, or just Redwood. So they're kind of paying homage to all like the trees that are based, the redwood trees that are based in Northern California, like outside like the San Francisco area, these big, huge, large trees that, I mean, are super wide in width, but then also from a height standpoint, hundreds of feet in the air as well. So definitely a sight to be seen. So cool story behind from that perspective. But then when you think about Redwood Empire, there are a couple of core products. And so as a whole, you have like, the Pipe Dream, Lost Monarch, the Emerald Giant. So those, I always thought they were just, okay, good products, not the best in the world, but okay. And they recently even came out with the cast strength version of those, which I have not tried those, I will say. But the regular ones I have tried. Fast forward to I think it was like late last year, but by the time they kind of really hit shelves, it was almost like January of this year, 2022. These two products came out, the Rocket Top Rye and the Grizzly Beast Bourbon, both of these bottled and bond. So one of my patrons, my buddy David Cooper, he was like, hey Judge, I have batch one, I'm gonna give you a sample. I flat out loved them. I thought they were fantastic products. Again, I only had a sample, but I loved the sample that David provided me. And I was like, this is not bad. This is pretty darn good. So I appreciate you, David Cooper. Thanks again, man, for the sample, brother. So I was very excited to, number one, see that they brought it back with, these are obviously batch number 2. So it looks like these are going to be coming out annually in that fall time range. But most of us will find it either in late fall, like December, which is when I found it, or you might even find it in January by the time it hits your market. So I'm going to dive into both of these bad boys one-on-one, and I'll give them both their own judgment, and then I'll also compare them against one another. Cool? All right. So, let me get some water. Whew. I was screaming last night, but our team did win. So, I was cheering for my daughter's high school football team. We did win. Now we're in the state championship. Woo! Nothing like that. All right. Let's start with the bourbon, because I am the bourbon judge, right? The rye has to come second in this instance. All right, Grizzly Beast. So what do we know about it as a whole? One thing I will say about Redwood Empire, and specifically the master distiller, Jeff Duckhorn, very transparent. On the back of the label, they go into very much detail about the mash bill. There's no hidden, really anything as relates to the mash bill. Very straightforward. So for this bourbon, this bottled and bond bourbon, distilling season was spring 2017. They bottled it in summer of 2022. So it is a 5-year aged bottled and bond bourbon. And I'm excited because this is truly their own juice. Before, a lot of their other whiskey was primarily source whiskeys, but this is their own juice. So aged 5 years. In this bourbon, this Grizzly Beast bourbon, the mash bill is 66% corn, 23% rye, 7% wheat, and 4% malted barley. So it's a 4-grain bottled and bond. Fancy, fancy, fancy. All right, let's dive into the nose real quick here. All right. Oh, see, that's the first thing that kind of came to mind. Like I always do, I pop this, put a little in my infinity bottle. But the first thing that came to mind when I popped this open, from a nose standpoint, it just screams like almost like a red, delicious apple. with a smidge of like maple syrup, a little bit of cinnamon, and a little bit of pepper. Because there is how much there? There's 23% rye, which doesn't surprise me. It's a little bit peppery as well. But it's a great nose. Yeah, definitely that red, delicious apple, some maple syrup, a little bit of pepper, and a smidge of cinnamon. But a wonderful, the nose on this is absolutely fantastic. So both of these, price by the way, I should say, both of them, $75 MSRP. So pretty, not too bad. I mean, slightly on the upper end for a 5-year age whiskey, but not horrible at the end of the day either. It's a little bit more expensive than what I would have thought. But again, newer, you know, they're making their own whiskey now, so expenses are up. I get it. This nose is absolutely flat out freaking amazing. Jeez, that nose is nice. Oh, gosh. Woo! Northern California. All right, here we go, Redwood Empire. Hey, my friends, real quick, 3 quick, easy favors. Number 1, hit the like button. Number 2, drop me a comment. Let me know your thoughts if you tried these. And last but not least, hit the subscribe button. Help your buddy out here. All right, cool. Cheers, my friends. Ooh. That is good, and it's different. This does not taste like any other bourbon that you would get from like a Kentucky-based distillery. Completely different profile of like an MGP product, and not even similar to any other California-based distilleries that I've had whiskey from as well. This is completely different. The nose definitely matches the palate. Tons like that at those red apple notes. Like the red delicious apple, the maple syrup, the cinnamon, definitely a spicy and finishes here. It's a stronger finish, but then it quickly actually does fade away. It does fade away quickly, but it is a nice, well-rounded experience. I'm gonna give you a judgment at the end. Is that cool? All right, and then I'm gonna compare both of them as well. All right, let's move over to the rye. So bottled and bond rye, exact same thing. Jeff is very straightforward from a mash bill standpoint as well, right here on the back. So this is a 87% rye, 5% wheat, 5% malted barley, and 3% corn. So also a 4-grain bottled and bond product, same age, 5 years. Distilled in spring 2017, and then they bottled it in summer 2022. So truly 5 years, which is awesome. All right, let's dive into this one real quick. And again, both same price, about $75, you know, plus or minus, depending on where you live. All right, so for this one, I'm staying in that apple family, honestly, as like the core base, but not red delicious. This is more like a green apple kind of a note. Very apple forward, but like a green apple. Lots of pepper in there as well. But this one as well, this one's slightly different too because I get a ton of like floral, mint, and pepper. Yep. So floral, minty. Oh yeah, definitely floral. Goodness gracious. But I like that though. Floral, mint, peppery, green apples, and some honey actually. Wow, this nose is interesting too. Completely different than that one. Other than the fact that the only similarities is that green apple, like a red delicious apple there, but completely different though nose-wise. All right, again, 2 separate verdicts, and then I'm gonna give you a 3rd verdict to tell you which one's better. This is a 3 for 1. That's good stuff right there. Cheers, everybody. Wow. Wow. That's nice. All right. I need a little bit more. It was pretty good, but I have to go into the palate and the finish as well. It was just quite delicious. I'll leave it there. Oh, man. Wow. Okay. That has definitely a longer finish compared to that one. That sips probably closer to like 105, 107, where that definitely sips like it's exactly 100 on the dot. This one sips a little bit smidge hotter, has a longer, more bolder, more of a better experience as a whole from a whiskey perspective. So, Judge, keep it real. Give me all 3 different decisions. I'm going to give you 3 for 1 here. Is this a buy, leave it on the shelf, or a no buy? The verdict is in. Grizzly Beast is a split decision. I'm going to explain the reason why. I like this. I like it for the fact of I love the nose. The palate was good, but it wasn't great. I don't know if it deserves that $75 price point. It probably should be closer to like $55, $60. But I didn't want to give it a do not buy because it is definitely a different experience. What I like about this is that it doesn't remind me of anything that's on the market. I like that. I just don't know if I love the price point. But the whiskey itself, I thought was actually pretty good. If it was $55, I would actually put it as a straight up buy all day. But at $75 plus tax, I'm not sure about that one. I would say try it at a bar, try it at a friend's house. Hey, if you have a good friend like mine, my buddy David, let me try it his. Ask a friend for a sample first. That's my verdict on the Grizzly Beast bourbon. The Rocket Top Rye. That is a definite buy. That is straight up delicious. It doesn't remind me, honestly, of any other rye that's on the market. What I loved about it was the nose was okay. It wasn't as good as this one, but the palate and the finish was extremely long, very bold, very, like I said, this one definitely sipped closer to like 105, 107, and overall was a better experience as a whole. And that says a lot because you guys know, even though I love bourbon and rye, I probably lean 60-40. 60 typically the bourbons, 40% the rye. But that was way better than this bad boy as a whole. That is pretty darn good. And I would say if you can find it, make sure you definitely grab a bottle. The last judgment shouldn't be that much of a shocker. If you see both of them sitting on the shelf and you can only spend $75, which one are you buying? Duh, that one right there. Hey, my friends, till the next time, peace, cheers, and most importantly, salute. See you, my friends.